Right, well, I've said stupidity reigns from Alex Jones's mouth, but this for once is not actually coming from his mouth. It's coming from one of his little lackeys. And this is absolutely hilarious. Not only that, but it also shows how, first of all, they are trying to disprove things that work so that they can shove their own products. Now, what am I talking about? Well, first of all, he goes on to say how evil Western medicine is because of they have the doctor's symbol is a staff with two snakes wrapped around it. Well, I'd like to first of all say, where does the word hospital come from? Well, the word hospital comes from a word from a Greek god called I think it's called Haspatai or Hospitus or something like that. And basically, the reason why it's that symbol is because the Greek god held that staff, and if you were sick in Greek times, you would go to his temple and you would pray that you would be bitten by one of his serpents that would heal you. And that is where it comes from. Now, of course, oh dear, serpents, they're evil. That's pretty obvious which audience he's going for. Definitely going for the religious audience. In fact, he even says he's going for the religious audience. So, that's just... And then he just goes, oh, have a look at all these fantastic products. Don't believe, all this medicine stuff that can treat you. No, come and, buy this alternative medicine that isn't proven to do jack shit. And then he goes on to the fact of all these, diseases, we didn't have 100 years ago. Well, maybe that's because medical science has progressed where we can recognise these things. We now have the technology to be able to see cancer before it even becomes a problem. And yet, apparently, this is somehow bad. And then they go on to the GM food debate. Now, yes, I will actually, for the first time ever, I will secede something to Alex Jones and co. That yes, Monsanto is probably one of the most evilest companies ever to exist. Yes, I am glad that they caught it. And B, the fact that there's meant to be this huge science cabal that promotes GM food is proved entirely wrong, because there's all these scientists now come out and say, look, these papers that Monsanto have produced are wrong. So they are not saying that all, they're generalising all scientists that say, oh, all scientists are bad and evil. Well, they're not. It was a scientist that showed that Monsanto's GM foods that they've been producing are what they're doing to rats. So how can you generalise scientists then, if that's the case? Science has a thing, what we call peer review, where you publish an article and then other scientists have a look at your article and then they repeat the test done in your article to see if they get the same effects. If they get the same effects, then they report back, yes, this article is true, here are my findings. And if they come back and they say, well, no, something a little bit different happened, I also found this, this and this, then they show this in their findings. This is what we call peer review, and that's what's happened in this case. But of course, Alex Jones and co. don't understand how science works and don't explain how it works to their audience so that they can understand this. And then the best thing is they go on to an email which they blank out, so I have very dubious doubts whether this email is real or not. And the guy goes, oh yeah, so, well, he goes on to say how idiots they are, which I entirely agree with they are. But I will say this now, GM food is not evil. It is not evil at all. It is and will be a way forward in the future. We do have an overpopulation problem. This is not made up. This is a fact. There is not a single scientist that will dispute you on that fact. That will say this, that will disagree with me. It is a fact. Overpopulation is a problem, and we are coming to a point where we are facing problems where we cannot produce food fast enough to meet the demand. this is a problem, and GM foods will help solve this problem. But of course, you know, the spin on Alex Jones showed is GM food is evil, full stop, and you know, you should buy these products, you know, because, you know, we're convincing you, and it's fear-mongering at its best. That's what it is. And it's so blatant in this video, it's hilarious. And I cannot understand for the life of me why Alex Jones has supporters. And there are people out there who view Alex Jones as some sort of, you know, comical figure and don't take a word of it for what he's saying. But there are people that do, and there are people that buy into this. And that is the problem, that they're the ones he's frightening into doing this. Because once you start to drink the Alex Jones Kool-Aid, you know, people just go and believe everything that he says. So, there you go.